I'm a psychologist and a PhD candidate in the University of Macedonia. I'm also a member of Lab Autism in the University of Macedonia also. So first of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Christina Siriopoulou for this opportunity to present in this Congress the Towards Inclusive Distance Learning for people with autism spectrum disorders. This is our laboratory of autism developmental spectrum disorders and behavior difficulties of the human. So COVID-19, the pandemic COVID-19 appeared in many countries all over the world. The coronavirus, COVID-19, appeared unexpectedly and changed the way of life of people all over the planet. Education systems of all countries faced significant difficulties as they were called upon to take measures to deal with an unprecedented situation. Maintaining learning in such a situation is a major challenge for the global educational community. The worldwide pandemic led to the school closure in many countries all over the world. Face-to-face learning was paused. So distance learning was activated using e-learning. In many countries, teachers were not well trained and did not have the necessary skills and knowledge. So schools focused on the enhancement of severe independent living skills using specialized programs, methods, and strategies, especially for students with ACD. These programs, which are related to well-structured tasks, activities, and interventions, can maximize positive outcomes for students with ACD. So, distance learning. Adoption of distance learning due to the sudden disruption of in-person learning. Distance learning includes language applications, virtual teaching, video conferencing tools, or online learning software. There was a significant increase in usage prior to COVID-19. For children with ACD, distance learning and e-learning during the pandemic presented notable challenges. School is often the place where they receive most of their therapeutic interventions in the least restrictive environment. So, changes in their daily routine, lack of social interactions and in-person therapies, lack of individualized educational help, including specialized services, and an enhanced level of support. The use of distance learning during the pandemic indicated the importance of better understanding this kind of teaching and learning, the methods and the strategies used for every student, and specifically for students with ACD. The aim of the methodology in this paper was to review papers that have investigated the effects and the impact of the use of distance learning in students with ACD. The research questions. The first question was, what are the advantages of the use of distance learning in students with ACD? The second one, what are the most widely used distance learning methods for students with ACD? And the third one, which are the main difficulties experienced by the students with ACD participating in distance learning? The research procedure was to first of all, formulation of research questions, inclusion-exclusion criteria, literature research, keywords like distance learning, e-learning, ACD, and autism. Methodology designed according to PRISMA guidelines. First, eligibility criteria, articles including the use of distance learning and e-learning, peer-reviewed studies. Each intervention article should include at least one group of ACD students. Articles should be between 2011 to 2022. Our initial search resulted in 57 relevant studies, 3 of which were duplicates. After the application of inclusion-exclusion criteria, 16 articles were considered eligible for analysis. The articles were categorized, and the category with the most studies was reviews, 5 out of 16 studies. This is the categorization of articles: review, training program, opinions, interventions, and application or tool. This is the article timeline for 2011 to 2022. So, most studies were reviews that aim to investigate the first study, the positive and the negative effects of the use of distance learning and e-learning. The second one, the impact of environment changes and disrupted routines of school closure, online schooling, and physical distancing on autism diagnostic services. The other one, the challenges faced by individuals with ACD, including disruption caused by educational and vocational changes, challenges to home and leisure routines, limited access to behavioral health services, and changes in health services. The other articles investigate strategies for teachers to develop in the instructional materials, communication support, and behavioral support. And the final article, the potential of telehealth-based parent-mediated interventions. Also, the articles includes interventions. The first one, creation of an e-learning toolset that can be used to develop individualized tools to support the social development of teenagers with ACD. The second one, observation of behavioral changes of autism pupils, specifically their attention, activity, and other related behaviors through online distance storytelling. The third one, proposition of an e-learning model that featured emotion recognition and emotion regulation to enhance mathematics e-learning for students with ACD. The articles include opinions. The first one, determination of the existing state of educational support for autistic children in Oman, as well as to provide a specific solution to aid in the education of autistic children. This was a questionnaire survey was utilized. The second one, examine the impact of the abrupt transition from attending face-to-face to participating in online learning. This was a phone interview, routines, roles, instruction, social interactions. And the third one, a systematic literature review and a survey of students with ACD studying online. The online environment provides facilitators and barriers. Training programs. The first one is a qualitative study, explored the participants' experience of autism, specific webinar and individual online support program delivered to a range of early childhood staff in regional and remote areas. And the other one, a randomized clinical trial, evaluate a virtual parent training program with e-learning modules and scripted role play via virtual private network. And the final one, application or tool, design and provide an educational software to help autistic students to learn computer skills and daily life skills. It provides an interface for the teacher to modify the material used. The other article proposes an adaptable e-learning system. It adapts to the user's learning needs by facilitating the user with suitable learning content based on his capabilities as brought out in his IEP. And the final one is a preliminary inclusive design that addresses accessibility barriers for people with autism when facing remote learning so they can have a continuous and independent development of their learning process. The results of this review. The results include the categories like reviews, interventions, opinions, training programs, application, or tool. First of all, reviews. The study by Josep et al. Focused on internet-based parent-mediated interventions were overall successful in enhancing children's social, cognitive, and communication skills. They also decreased their autistic traits. Ames et al. said that closure of schools can reduce stress in individuals with ACD, but physical distancing reduces their already limited support network. Online schooling provides them the freedom to be in their home environment and has positive effects on learning outcomes. Behavior et al. Says that during pandemic, educators faced many challenges. Many children with ACD received minimal services, and also their educational challenges needed to be supported by parents. Stenhoff et al. Says that teachers need to design individualized instructional material to ensure that every student has a method for demonstrating their understanding and to provide caregivers with behavior management strategies. And Petretto et al. Says that assistive technology had a positive effects on specific academic abilities, on cognitive and metacognitive abilities. Interventions. Chu et al. Says that negative academic emotions, mathematical learning performance of students with ACD can be improved through emotion regulation strategies embedded in the proposed e-learning model. The behaviors of a learning with ACD can be improved through online storytelling in terms of attention, activity level, and related behaviors. The use of storytelling as a teaching and learning method in modifying the behavior of a learner with ACD, even in the online distance learning class, as said by Ecoben 2021. Ostrom says that e-learning tools such as HANDS toolset can be helpful for teenagers with ACD in their social development. In order to be helpful, this tool have to be tailored eventually. Opinions. According to the questionnaire, children with ACD are more motivated to participate in the learning process when it is implemented with technology. The proposed learning model was beneficial for their learning and communication skills. According to Rowitz et al., parents reported their ACD child's inability to adjust to their new routine, difficulty in following instructions online, and changes in social interactions. According to Adams et al., university students reported feelings of disorientation during learning. Less than 40% of the students chose e-learning because of the reduced social interaction, and less than 20% because of its effectiveness. Training programs. According to Fisher et al., parents play an important role in the treatment of their children's ACD symptoms. The virtual training program, including online, e-learning modules, and role plays via virtual private network VPN. This can be effective for training parents to implement applied behavior analysis. According to Johnson et al., webinar and individual online support program has a positive impact on access to autism-specific learning and support. The interactive nature of webinars and individual online consultations is highly valued. However, many people relying on recorded webinars due to extensive travel and busy caseloads. And final application or tool, Filiou et al. Developed an educational software for students with ACD according to their most frequently reported challenges. Modules, interface, and resources descriptions were provided. An e-learning system, Arab by Venkatesan et al., with a semantic-based content extraction mechanism is proposed, which uses hybrid ontologies developed specifically for teaching children with autism. This intelligent system adapts to the user's learning needs by facilitating the user with appropriate learning content based on their ability. Shinsei et al. Have presented a preliminary inclusive design to a complete e-learning ecosystem focused on enhancing accessibility from distance learning and support for people with autism. This platform looks promising for encouraging self-management. Now the discussion. Most studies that were considered suitable for this study were published between 2020 to 2022, which indicates the rise of e-learning and distance learning during this pandemic. Studies included in this review were conducted in various parts of the world as the COVID-19 pandemic was affecting most countries. Although the researchers set specific eligibility criteria, the final studies were very diverse regarding their research design, approach, and findings. Findings were diverse, with studies reporting both positive and negative outcomes. Some studies also managed to reveal parents' and teachers' opinions, while some others proposed newly developed applications, tools, and training programs that facilitate the e-learning process. Additionally, evidence-based practices were applied to interventions and showed promising results. Some students with ACD might benefit from e-learning and distance learning due to the lack of overstimulation by noise and lights that appears in school environments. Also, distance learning can reduce anxiety due to absence of face-to-face learning, and can be an opportunity to enhance their digital literacy skills. But there are also drawbacks, accessibility challenges because of the nature of technology, also difficulties in adapting to new routines and the novel learning method, difficulties in maintaining ACD students' social relationships through e-learning, lack of guidance towards parents. The development of e-learning guidelines and evidence-based practices for students with ACD could open up new prospects for their successful support remotely. In the future, this could potentially aid A, students in rural areas, B, those who can easily transport due to other comorbid disabilities, and students with sensory hypersensitivity. There is a need for creating individualized learning environments for e-learning and distance learning that is tailored to the students with ACD needs. Also, parents and teachers should collaborate in order to implement e-learning practices that will benefit students with ACD. These are some references. Thank you so much.